Research tells us that communication is based on 93% body language and tone of voice, and only 7% based on the words that we actually say. So can you imagine what life is like for someone who has difficulty understanding body language and tone of voice?
Paul is one of those people. He was diagnosed with autism 2 years ago at the age of 42.
Tone of voice, gestures, body language, facial expression. Each one of those things, I, as an autistic, have to consciously work out.
Paul has a form of autism called Asperger's syndrome. This means he has an above-average IQ, but his lack of intuition can lead to misunderstanding.
Watching a drama, say for example, and Paul never picks up on when there's going to be an underlying romance. Paul is clueless, so it's really funny because I'll always pick up on what's going on.
There are 500,000 people in the UK, like Paul, who've been diagnosed with some form of autism. But did you know we're all on what's called the autism spectrum? And there are now online tests that you can take to find out exactly where you sit on that line.
These tests won't give you a definite diagnosis, but they will give you an indication.
I'll tell you my score later, and also how you can do a test at home yourselves.
To get a better understanding of how people with autism view the world, neuropsychologist Dr. David Lewis has set up an experiment. Paul and Dr. Christian have both agreed to watch a short drama.
The film's been deliberately shot to include lots of the things which people on the autistic spectrum disorder find it hard to understand. Things like irony and sarcasm and complex relationships. Essentially, the story is that the husband is having an affair with his wife's best friend, and his wife catches him in the act.
Specialist eye tracking equipment will monitor both Paul and Dr. Christian's every eye movement, recording which parts of the screen they watch and for how long.
So, Paul, what did you think of the little drama?
I was quite confused by what people were trying to portray, actually. I was actually quite surprised by what happened. I didn't see it coming.
Only when Dr. Lewis analyses the eye tracking data can we see how differently Paul and Dr. Christian view the world.
You're the green on this, and Paul is the purple. And the larger the size of the dot, the longer you spent looking there. So you went from the newspaper there, straight up to his face, and you spent most of the time, as most people would, looking at the person's face, because the face is where we communicate most strongly to people. Paul, by contrast, started off here, roughly where you started, on the newspaper, and then moved just short of the face, and then back down to the knee.